This is question number 18 on page 12, right? As you can see, they give us an equation right here. But for argument's sake, we are going to figure everything out in this equation before we move on to the actual question. So before I read anything, we're going to figure out what this means. So it's put into the format of y equals mx plus b, right? You guys should have learned that m equals slope and b equals the y-intercept. With this said, it's quite easy to figure out anything in this equation simply because the equation is y equals negative 4x plus 6. So in this situation, negative 4 would be m, meaning negative 4 is the slope, and 6 would be the y-intercept. Okay, so now that we have all of this information mapped out for us, we are going to read the actual question. Lee thinks of a line represented by the equation y equals negative 4x plus 6. Which line on the graph below is A, steeper than Lee's line, and B, has a y-intercept that has half the value of Lee's line? Then we're given possible answers. So what we're going to do is the y-intercept is half of the value of Lee's line. So we found the y-intercept already. And with basic math, we can see that 6 divided by 2, because dividing any number by 2 will give you half its value, gives us 3. So we need to find a line with the y-intercept of 3. So that will rule out line Q, because line Q has a y-intercept of 2. As you can see, it hits the y, and x is at 0 at the number 2. We can also rule out line R because it hits at about 6, which is the same value as Lee's line rather than half the value. So the only options left are either P or U. Okay, now the next question is steeper than Lee's line. So to measure steepness, we have the slope, right, which we already have. So what we're going to do is we're going to take line P and we're going to take line U, and we're going to calculate the slope for each one to figure out which one is steeper, meaning the number has to be greater than Lee's. Okay, so let's map this out. P, we're going to use the color red. And let's see, it hits at 3 here, and it hits at about a 5 here. But we're not calculating like that since we're not going all the way down. We're just going to make a little triangle and calculate from there. Okay, so there's our triangle. So you guys remember how to calculate slope, right? It's rise over run. So you're going to take P equals rise 2 over run, which is another 2, but in the negative direction. So it's going to be rise 2 over negative 2, because, right, you can look at the values at x, which gives us a total of negative 1. So P would not be steeper than Lee's line because the value of the slope is a lot less than the value of Lee's. Remember, when we're looking at slope, we're not looking at the negative in front. That means nothing to us at the moment. That just means the direction of the slope. The steepness is measured by the actual number, the absolute value, rather than the negative sign put in front of it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to calculate for U. So let's see, it intersects at about 3 here, and then 2 here, negative 2, 3, we're going to use a different color. So U gets to be blue. And then here. Okay, so what that is right now is you have a rise of from negative 2 to about 3, so that's a rise of 5, right? And then you have a run of 1, which gives us the answer of a slope of 5. which is a lot steeper. -5, because of the direction it's going, by the way. I forgot to mention that. -5 is steeper than the -4 value given in Lee's slope. So our answer would be U.